Farewell is a word that carries weight. It signifies the end of something, but it also makes room for transformation. In music, farewells can take many forms. The conclusion of a composition, the retirement of a theme, or a personal decision to step away from a certain creative direction. For me, this month is about acknowledging the changes in my musical path and reflecting on what it means to leave behind certain aspects of my artistry. This process can also be seen as a musical death, the symbolic end of an era, a sound, or an identity within my artistic evolution. A reflection on my 11 musical eras. The first is the beginning era, the first steps into music, filled with curiosity and discovery, simple yet meaningful compositions that laid the foundation for future growth. The second era, the grandeur era, a phase of ambition and expansion where music began. The second is the grandeur era, a phase of ambition and expansion where music became more expressive, bold, and confident. A time of artistic confidence and grand visions. Third is the exploration era, a journey of experimenting with different styles, emotions, and structures, searching for a unique musical voice through diverse influences. Fourth is the transition era, a shift in direction, possibility marked by internal change or external influences. The moment where past styles uncertain met the uncertainty of what was next. The fifth is the joyful era, a time of lightness and celebration in music, carefree and emotionally uplifting compositions that captured moments of happiness. The sixth is the changing era, a realization that music was evolving, reflecting shifts in life, emotions, and artistic perspective. Growth, uncertainty, and transformation took center stage. The seventh is the memory era, looking back at past works, emotions, and experiences. Nostalgia and reflection shape the compositions, making them deeply personal. Eighth is the restart era, a new beginning, whether in creative style, mindset, or purpose. The process of rebuilding and redefining what music meant. Ninth is the falling era, a difficult phase where struggles, whether personal, creative, or emotional, deeply influence deeply influence the music, a sense of loss or conflict within compositions. 10th is the untitled era, undefined stage, perhaps time of artistic ambiguity or questioning, a search for meaning where compositions existed without clear direction. And the last era is the longing era. The final chapter, filled with emotions of yearning, nostalgia, and unresolved feelings, and the anthology from this era as anchor, encapsulating its essence. A collection of works that reflect deep introspection, emotional depth, and a sense of something left unfinished or unattainable. Throughout my creative life, I have gone through different artistic phases, each representing unique emotional and musical identity. These 11 musical eras are captured in Reminiscing Happiest Moments, reflecting my evolving relationship with music and myself. Revisiting them now allows me to understand what I'm saying farewell to and what still remains with me. As I reflect on these eras, I see a story unfolding, one of passion, struggle, joy, and change. Each phase holds meaning, but not all of them can remain with me forever. Some aspects of my musical identity must be left behind for me to move forward. Music has been a constant in my life, but my relationship with it is not the same as it once was. These are pieces I no longer connect with, styles I have outgrown, and ambitions that no longer align with who I am now. Saying farewell to these aspects is difficult, yet necessary. It is not about rejecting my past, but about making peace with the fact that I have changed. Farewell does not mean the end. It means transformation. Farewell does not mean the end. It means transformation. While I'll be stepping away from certain aspects of my musical identity, I also making space for something new. Change is a natural Change is a natural part of any artistic journey, and accepting it allows me to move forward with clarity. This farewell is not about closing a chapter. It's about understanding what remains. Music will always be part of me, but in what form? What comes next? These are the questions that will shape the rest of this series. As I move forward, I carry with me the lessons and emotions of my past. But I also allow myself the freedom to evolve. Perhaps this farewell is not an ending, but a transition. Perhaps this farewell is not an ending, but a transition into something new. For God, life and music, a deeper connection with the divine, and reflect on my inner struggles through creating music. In this way, a musical death is not an end, but a transformation. Music has been my safe haven, a way to connect, and share my emotions with others. However, I've come to realize that I need to focus on myself for a while, on healing, processing, and finding the inner strength to move forward. In essence, my motto encapsulates the eternal interplay between faith, existence, and artistry. It is a philosophy that anchors me in the present while reminding me that my work, my spirit, and my purpose are part of something far greater than myself. A music that plays on long after the final note. Every time I compose, I feel like I'm saying goodbye to something, an emotion, a memory, a fleeting through that might have otherwise disappeared. The moment I put a melody into notes, it stops being just mine. It takes on a life of its own, separate from me. And in that transition, there's a quiet farewell. Sometimes I write to hold on to something I know I'm losing. A person, a feeling, a chapter of my life. Music becomes my way to preserving it. Music becomes my way of preserving it. Even though, even though I know it can never truly stay. I've sat at the piano, playing a melody over and over, trying to capture an emotion before it fades. But once I finish a piece, I can never quite relive the exact moment that inspired it. The music remains, but I have already moved forward. Other times, I compose not for what was, but for what could have been. There's a strange, there's a strange longing in writing music, like reaching for something just beyond my grasp. I think about the paths I didn't take, the words I never said, the lives I never lived. Music lets me step into those imagined realities, if only for a moment. But when the last note fades, I am left with the same quiet ache, the realization that some things will only ever exist in melody, not in life. Even when I listen to my old compositions, it feels like opening a letter from my past self. Some pieces take me right back to the emotions I felt when I wrote them. Other feels distant, like they belong to someone that I used to be. It's strange how music preserves time, yet also reminds me how much I've changed. The emotions are still there, locked inside the notes. But I hope I'm no longer the same person who first played them. Music for me has a balance of holding on and letting go. Every composition carries a fragment of goodbye, sometimes intentional, sometimes subconscious. But maybe that's the beauty of it. Even though I say goodbye through my music, it allows me to return someday to remember, to feel again. It's a farewell but never a final one. As a music student, I am a passionate and dedicated to expressing myself through composition and performance. It made me question whether I was playing for myself or for them. One of my most authentic moments was creating my original compositions. A breeze from the pine trees from Grand Brilliant Waltz Opus 127, number 1, where I felt truly connected to my own art and audience. However, I also experienced a time I wasn't living to my true self when I was creating content and music that felt more like a performance for validation rather than an authentic expression of my passion, sometimes leading to stress and self-doubt. While these pressures push me to improve, moving forward, I want to overcome my tendency to overthink and find a balance between my artistic aspirations and mental well-being. Through continuous self-awareness and growth, I strive to be both a better musician and a fulfilled individual. With true self lies in embracing one's passion authentically, free from external pressures. Only then can music and life become a reflection of the soul.